Oh my God. Thank you very much for having me here. This is my 7th trip to Poland. When I was the CTO of Citibank, I used to come here because we owned Bank Handlowy over in Warsaw, and I used to go to Łódź because I had a development center in Łódź. So I love this country. I've been here at least 7, 8 times. But anyway, my presentation today is going to probably bore you a little bit if you're not into banking, but it might also give you some ideas on what type of opportunities there are in banking. One of the companies I started is Token.io. I am the co-founder and I'm the CTO emeritus. What does that mean? That means that I show up in the office twice a week. Anyway, so a little bit of background. I have 30 years of high-tech experience. I said the global CTO of Citibank, and I was a former partner at EY. I've done other things, but I don't really want to, they're not relevant to finance. These are the only things I've done that were relevant to finance. I've been the founder and advisor to 20 companies. I've taken 2 companies public, and I'm an early investor in Facebook, eBay, Airbnb, a few others that you're probably very familiar with. So let's go. What is Token? Token, I just raised $18.5 million for Token, mostly from European investors, Octopus, EQT, and OP out of Finland. We have 40 employees, split pretty much in half in San Francisco, half in London. And here, this is one thing that I've learned in all the businesses that I have been associated with or have started. When you forget who your customer is, you become irrelevant. I think it's very important to cite a few examples. People who lost, please do not do this. Sorry. Industries that have forgotten customers, the taxi forgot. So what happened? Uber showed up.
You lost something. Maybe it's important for you. So keep it up for it.
Thank you. That's why I love people in Europe, and the Polish in particular. Thank you. Hotels have forgotten their clients also, and they were taken over by Airbnb. Banks are almost a endangered species in a lot of places. Largely because there is a lot of regulation. So, and then suddenly this regulation becomes open banking. For those of you here in European banks, you've heard about PSD2. I know it's a topic of conversation here. And what PSD2 really is about, Payment Services Directive number 2, it is open banking. Meaning, you're a bank, you have to open your systems to outside companies, startups, et cetera, and the reason why you want to open them is the European Union, for whatever reason, said that banks are a monopoly. In order to destroy the monopoly, we're going to allow startups to have access to your bank systems. Banks hate it. They think it's very disruptive, but it's also a source of innovation. So let me go. Here's a nightmare that happens today. And I'm sorry about the technical jargon here. API means Application Programming Interface. This is the way external parties will link to the banks. And what's happening today is every bank has their own API. Many, many, many banks have decided, oh, we'll comply. They build an API, they put it out there, but it only works for them. Doesn't work for anybody else. In the ideal world, what we need to do is to build out a single rich API, a secure API, and it's feature-rich that banks can share. As of today, we have partnerships now with 9 banks, some of them very, very large. And we believe that based on the business development that we're all doing, that we're in a very good position. What is Token? Token is what we call a bank operating system. It does consent management. We have developer tools, open APIs, instant payments, programmable money, identity, and security. And you go like, whoa, 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 that's a lot. Explain to me what that means. It's a lot of people have heard about blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum. Think about this as a way smarter Bitcoin, as a way smarter Ethereum. And the reason why it's smart is because each of our tokens has a state, manages rules, and the asset. So for example, the state is 877 euros. Some of the characteristics and rules are like, who's the redeemer, what's the call out, what's the expiration date, what's the limit, what is it a checking account? All of these things are part and parcel of the architecture. So for a bank to go, the way we implement it is banks have their own APIs right now. We just sit on top of that API, and from that API, we take over everything. We try to make sure that the bank doesn't have to go and reinvent the entire system. Again, here's another way to look at it. Bank goes to Token, and from Token, you can talk to your developers, your bank, or your merchant. Here's another slightly more complicated thing, but it really is not. We manage all the integration from bank to bank, software providers, developers, fintechs. Now, what does this mean? This actually means you can create the next PayPal. You can connect and create the next Venmo. You can create the next payment instrument. You can create the next treasury function. So we'll do a little case study addressing payment pains for the airlines. Let's see. So there's about, in credit card fees, there's about $10 billion in credit card fees just in airlines. And they don't really have good transaction level data. So we'll go look at a little example over here and a little use case. Okay. Selecting a destination, you click on a destination, you book it. Once you book it, you confirm it, and come on, waiting for approval, and that's it. One of the things you noticed here is there's no credit card. The credit card basically just disappears once the entire itinerary is done. This is all populated directly to your travel schedules. There's no need for credit cards. In a use case where you have a delayed flight, sorry, your flight was delayed, but here's a $10 coupon. Use it on the terminal, and it knows, because it's a smart token, it knows everything about your flight, how much you paid, how much of a rebate. You want to go into the airline and you want to go shopping. You pick one, you click on it, add to cart, and voila, time's up, they tell me. Sorry. Check out. Again, no credit card. You touch it, and you're done. And I'm going to go a little faster because paying with points, if you want to pay with points, you can do the same thing. There's several use cases that are enabled by PSD2, aggregate and sweeps, in-purchase lending, e-commerce. There are so many applications and business opportunities that can come out with the use of open banking. And so we are going to dare all of you to go and be a little bold. Try to go and experiment with Token and take advantage of PSD2. With that, I'm here all day, and thank you very much for your time. Here's my email address. Thank you very much.